So do you love comfort foods? I know I do, and that's exactly what I made today. Just delicious, chunky tomato soup, healthy vegan style, with no oil, just lots of healthy vegetables, and I know that's comforting to me. And today, I'm going to show you how to make your own. All right, so before we talk about what we're going to use to make this delicious, chunky tomato soup, let's talk about why make your own. Why not just go to the grocery store and grab a can of soup off the shelf? Now, I've done that many times in the past, and if you do that, I respect it. But I've learned that there are a lot of things potentially in soups that just aren't necessary. Things like oil, things like even wheat, refined sugar, and soups tend to be really, really high in sodium. Add to that soups are acidic because they're made, a lot of them are made with tomatoes in particular. They leach a lot of chemicals into the soup. And so there are a lot of reasons that I prefer to make my own. Now let's talk about what we're going to use. So I'm going to use some red potatoes. I'm going to use a yellow onion, some celery. We're going to put some healthy kale in there, some carrots, and then I'm going to use some tomato puree and tomato paste. And notice that the ones I use are in jars. I don't buy tomato products that are in cans. And a lot of times I make my own sauce, but in this instance, I bought it, and it's a very good brand. I'm going to use some dried herbs along with the bay leaf. I'm going to use some garlic, a little salt, some date paste, some string beans, and some vegetable broth. And I made this broth myself, but you could buy any organic vegetable broth and it would suffice. Okay, so those are the things we're going to use. Let's get to chopping and putting it together.
So soup is a dish that I really enjoy making, and one of the reasons is because there are no rules, meaning that you can put pretty much anything your heart desires in a soup. It's an opportunity to combine lots of fresh, healthy vegetables that you particularly have a taste for into one delicious, healthy vegan dish. Soups are amazing.
All right, so now I've got all my vegetables cut and ready to go in the pot along with the other ingredients. Now at this point is when you would typically add a little oil to your pan and then put in your onions and your garlic and to saute them. But of course this is oil-free cooking, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to take my veggie broth and get it in my pot. And I'm just going to put enough so that I can saute my onions and garlic. I'm going to get it going here. And then once the broth is heated, I'm going to add my onions and my garlic and start sauteing them.
So the idea here is to saute our onions and our garlic just enough so that they start to get a little soft and to release their flavors.
All right, so now I've got my onions and my garlic cooked down to the point where I want them. And now what I'm going to do is add my seasonings. I'm going to add my seasoning mix and my bay leaf. And now typically you would be adding oil to this pot, and if you added oil and then added the seasonings, you run the risk of them kind of overcooking and burning. But because we're using vegetable broth, we don't have to be concerned with that. I'm adding them now so that the seasonings can really get saturated into our base and those flavors are nice and active.
And once I've added my seasonings, it's time to add the tomato puree and the broth. And those are the things that will make up the base of this soup. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe below.
All right, so now I brought my mixture to a boil, which is where we want it. And now it's time to add some of our vegetables. What I'm going to add right now are my potatoes, my celery, and my carrots. Now, for right now, that's all I'm going to add to the pot are these vegetables because they take longer to cook than the greens do, a lot longer. So we're going to put these here. I'm going to mix them up a bit. All right, and now I've got them all in the pot. I'm going to cover this and we're going to let this simmer. Let those potatoes, celery, carrots cook down a bit before we add our greens. And then lastly, we'll add our pastes. Okay, so now our potatoes and carrots are just about done. Now it's time to add our green vegetables.
So now we're going to put the final touches on this delicious soup. We're going to add our kale and our green beans, and then we're going to stir them in and let them cook. Now, once they're done cooking, we can add our final ingredients, which is our date paste, our tomato paste, and then you can salt and pepper to your taste, and we are done.
Okay, I've got it all done. I've removed it from the heat. Now it's time to get some in a bowl so I can give this a taste.
So one last thing I want to share with you is that this soup pairs really well with several of the healthy vegan breads that I've made. Look in the captions below for links to those recipes.
Perfect flavor. Comfort food. So I've had a lot of people write me and ask me how to find the recipes to the cooking show videos like the one you just watched. If you're having trouble finding the recipe, look below the video for the word more. Tap on the word more and you'll see the beginning of the recipe. Tap on the word more again and the full recipe will appear, and then you can begin to make your own. Thanks for watching.